Good morning, everybody. Got a little bit of stuff to do down, so we're planning on getting a couple pigs this weekend on Saturday. So we're down here at the pig pen this morning, and what we have to do is get the water turned on. The I turned this off. I haven't had pigs down here for I don't know, a year or so, and I've got this turned off, so we've got to turn it back on. And to do that, there is a valve that I have to dig up and turn on. And then we've got to put a wire panel across right here. And then get the feed. I feed them out of this. This is actually a creep feeder, is what I call it, for calves. But it works for me for these pigs also. And so this is about, depending on what size of pigs we wind up getting this weekend, we may have to lower this down in the front. That's about a foot off the ground, and if we get smaller pigs, that'll be too high for them. So what I have done in the past is just get a piece of railroad tie and put right across the front there. So we might go and get some feed this morning and get that filled up, but we are going to get the water turned on. And then when we get these pigs, I will probably keep them in this little pen right here for a few days until they get familiar with us before I turn them out into this larger pen. And this larger pen, it's probably, and I don't know, it's probably an acre or so big. So, and then there's also another one over there, another pen, but I will probably put a wire panel right across here, and then I have one that fits across this water. So we'll keep them pinned up here until they get used to us, and then let them out into this bigger pen later. But I'm going to set you guys up over there, and we've got to dig this valve up and get the water turned on. Okay, so we've got the valve exposed, and we should be able to turn it on. We should have water, which we do, but there's supposed to be a plug in there. And there isn't. So we've got to find that plug. I'll show you the one on the other side. Should be a plug in there like that. So I don't know where it went, but we'll shut the water back off, see if we can find it, or pick another one up. There, that's back off. So I'll look around for the plug. There's always something that goes wrong, right? Oh, right here. Don't know how it got out of there, but there it is, right here. So we'll stick that in there, turn the water back on. The way it does is this tightens down and it swells that rubber out. don't know. It's not really staying too well. We're gonna have to work on it, clean it up. I'm not doing very good videoing. It needs to tighten down in there. All right, let me work on that. Get back with you. Fixed. At least I think so. Had to run back to the shop, of course, get a set of pliers. I came down here with nothing, but as far as tools. So I think we're good to turn the water back on. We ought to be filling up. What it has is a float underneath here that shuts it off. And it's supposed to shut it off just before it overflows. Which, yep, it shut it off. Well, one thing these pigs will do in the summertime is I make them so I've got this hydrant right here. What I've learned is, and I run a garden hose off of that, and I route it up through here, through the trees, just up through the trees. And then I let it drip, just a slow drip, and it drips enough that they'll make a wallow right here. Pigs can't sweat, so when it gets warm in the summer, they need water to cool off. And if I don't do that, what they will do is they will stand at this waterer and just slop water out of it. And see, this side right here I've filled back in, but they did have this side like this side, where the concrete's up off of they've wallowed underneath it. So we're gonna have to get the tractor, and goes a helicopter, and fill that back in. But they won't be in this side when we first get them. So got a little time to do that, but water is on. Now we just got to get the feeder ready to go. And how it works is we've got a farmer that raises corn just a few miles north of where we live that has a grain bin that you can buy corn directly from him, and you can buy it whole or crimped. And we buy crimped corn, and I feed them, just gravity feeder basically. I feed them a combination of crimped corn, and then to add some protein to it, I get pellets from, I'll probably buy them at Atwoods. And I mix those kind of like a 50-50 ratio. And they seem to do pretty good on it. So we've got to find a couple panels and put a panel across there to close that off, and a panel across here. So I'll source those panels, get them out here, and I'll probably take that across. I'll put one across there too, where I can keep them just in that little pen to start off with. So, all right, I'll get some panels and we'll put those up. Okay, panels are up. So we've got that far up across here. Put this one in across the water, and across here. So we're ready to go as far as that's concerned. We had a leak here because this slab, since they rooted out here, was setting unlevel. This side was filling up further than this side. So I've tried to put my shovel in there and pried that up and tried to get that leveled up with some dirt underneath it. I'd have filmed that, but you guys didn't need to hear me breathing heavy. It doesn't take much anymore, but we've got it there, and I think, well, it's still leaking. I can see it. I thought I had it stopped, but let me get across the fence here. And you can see there's still water running down there. So we have some family stuff to take care of today. Got to get ready to go to town, but this afternoon we'll come back, and I may have to just lower that float, adjust it where it doesn't fill up quite as far, because it's filling up. It's a little bit too far. So, all right. See if we can make it back out here this afternoon. If not, have a blessed day, everybody.